All right. Are we all ready?
Yep.
I'll call the Administration and Finance Committee to order. 4 members are present. Alderwoman Keene is excused. Item 17 on our agenda is an ordinance updating the appraiser salary grade and replacing safety and training coordinator position title with risk manager position.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 18 is a resolution to amend policy number 1410 relating to time off allocation and negative balance.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And item 19 is a resolution providing for the sale of approximately $4.315 million in general obligation promissory notes series 2022A.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. As far as discussion, is there anyone from finance that would like to talk about this or discuss this or anything?
Sure. I can just say that this is just a normal annual capital borrowing that we're doing with streets and street lighting. Typically, we would have had utilities in here as well, but we're using ARPA dollars to fund that at the moment. Yes. I don't know if you just want to introduce Todd Tace from Ellers.
Hi there.
He's helping us through this current debt issuance.
Okay, and yeah, we have a long-standing relationship with Ehlers, and yeah, very good.
How are the rates on this? Still holding, or?
The rates we assumed in the report that you were provided reflect kind of where we were at the end of May. Now, since then, we've seen rates actually come down a little bit.
Yeah.
These will be sold at competitive sales, so you'll take bids on it.
Yeah.
Hard to tell where we might be a month from now, but at least most recently, it's been a little bit of positive news compared to what we saw, over the first several months of the year with a very rapid run up. So we're at 3.68 is what the report assumes. If we're selling today, we'd be under that.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 20 is a resolution relative to authorizing renewal of a 5-year contract for body-worn cameras and acquiring unlimited third-party storage for a sum of $132,800 per year from Axon.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 21 is a resolution to authorize the agreement between the city and Dell Technologies to purchase new desktop computers for $34,408 from the account identified.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And then item 22 is an item which we're going to hold if there's no objection. We've had some discussion from Steve Scher and Public Works also about the cost of that project costing more than they had expected, even as the time of the potential resolution, and they need to do some more homework on that before bringing it to us. And so with that, is there anything else to properly come before the committee?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Administration and Finance is adjourned.
Safety and Development will come to order. All members are present with the exception of Alderwoman Keene, who is excused. Item 28 on your agenda is a resolution relative to determination of conditional use for Urban Pioneer, a proposed multifamily dwelling at 8001 West National and 80 Star West National.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Steve, we originally at CDA, I think it was CDA. I honestly get my committees confused at times, but anyhow, yeah, you're talking about the micro units. Yeah, that's something that's new to our market. I think that some folks might have questions about. Are they still talking Murphy beds in those micro units, or tell us what's going on, please?
Sure. So there will be Murphy beds in those. They have I think it's like 15 or so efficiencies that they're proposing, and in those they are talking about basically 0 bedrooms. So you've got your kitchen, open concept, the kitchen, and living room area, and then somewhere within that room you can fold down your bed. It comes out of the wall, and that's your accommodation. So it's different from what we've commonly seen in some of the other market rate products, like the West or Element 84. But with that, I guess we're open to it. I think the form of the building is really nice. At 5 stories tall, it's going to be a little bit taller than the Heritage just to the east. But then I think in terms of the overall urban design, with the building up to the street frontage, the walk-up townhome units, it does show a lot of merit. And I think it could be a catalyst for that portion of National Avenue as well, just with the area business in that area. National Avenue for some time, as you go further west, seems to be somewhat of a pass-by street. So I think if we can create more people living in that area, then so too will the destinations come, I think. So,
Thank you.
sure.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Weigel.
they're still a long way from financing, I understand, and so there's probably not even a projected construction begin date or anything. I mean, if have they shared like an ideal timeline if the chips fell the right way for them, or?
In their application, they said that they want to be under construction this fall.
Oh.
But that may be a bit optimistic, I think, just given the fact that they haven't really had detailed discussions. They had initial discussion with the CDA, but they need to have further discussions with Patrick Schloss and his team. They are going to be asking for some incentive, a TIF, something along that line. So they've got a ways to go yet.
Okay. And hasn't been any other proposals coming forward with the empty bank property? No.
Not that I've heard of. Patrick, I don't know if you've heard of.
There have been people looking at the property, but right now they have a signed offer on the property. But
Okay.
development group.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 29 on your agenda is a resolution relative to determination of a conditional use permit for Taco John's at 6767 West Greenfield.
I move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for approval. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, carried. Item 30 is a resolution of approving a certified survey map for the property at 6767 West Greenfield.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And item 31, Planning Department wants to have a discussion regarding eliminating some of the split zone properties in West Allis. Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Split zoning's been around for quite a while. Going back to some of the early zoning maps, back to like 1930s, you can see portions of the of right-of-ways along Beloit Road, National Avenue, Beecher Street were split zoned. I'm just going to scroll down to the presentation here, and we'll get going. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we have 350 split zone properties in the city, and it's confusing. It's confusing to property owners, it's confusing to business owners, appraisers, banks, and so on. What does it mean when my property is like 2145 South 63rd here? It's literally split diagonally. The frontage typically measured from Beloit Road, the center line of Beloit Road, out about 200 feet. The planners, before GIS, before CAD, and all the technology came along, it was just a lot easier to go from the center line of the street out about 150 to 200 feet and just draw your zoning line. It literally cut properties in two in some cases, or slivers of properties would be C2 or commercial, whereas other portions of the property would be residential. In the case that we're looking at here, just for example, 2145 63rd is a single-family residential home, but yet close to half of the property is zoned C2 commercial. So there's really no intent for that property ever to be commercial. It was just a drafting exercise going way back. You can see this 1968 zoning map in the lower. This is the same area, 64th and Grant, and Beloit. The same thing existed going back to 68. 30 years prior to that, it's still doing the same thing. So with technology, we have GIS now. It's a lot easier to be a lot more exact, and actually carve out what properties you want to be commercial versus this close enough approach where you literally just broadcast out 200 feet from the center line of the street. So what we'd like to seek safety and development sponsorship for would be to come back to you with we have a list of properties, about 190 or so properties, and we'd like to start out in a phased approach. These are some planners back in the early days. Yeah, I think I know that's Dave Weinheimer here or something. I don't know, I'm not sure, but yeah. Sorry, Dave, if you're listening. But these are the areas, some on Greenfield Avenue, National Avenue, Beecher Street, Lincoln Avenue, Beloit. These are the usual areas that we see a lot of split zone properties. We'd like to attack this by first taking these in batches. We're going to start on National Avenue and Beecher Street in phase 1, and then we could come back at subsequent meetings before Safety and Development or the Council to get items 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we'd take out a bulk, roughly close to half of them in the first batch or phase. We don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. I'll get into that last slide here, but this is the second from last slide. Our approach would be to have, I guess tonight, we just want to share the problem issue with you in the statement that we'd like to tackle this. We would have a couple public information meetings in June and July, and then approach the Planning Commission in July and come back to Common Council for a public hearing in August. Now, if we run into a bunch of issues somewhere here in June and July with the public, we could certainly, inform the Safety and Development Committee, and we can hit the brakes a little bit and figure out what the issues are, and then stretch it out as need be. But this is, I guess, the fastest we would go if you so direct us. Just an example. A big question that usually comes out of rezonings is what happens to my property now that if I'm a single-family home and I'm split zoned, part commercial, part residential. We look at the land use plan, and the land use plan, we would use that as our guide, and that would be the first measure. And then secondly, we would seek to rezone the property, but there are a few properties where we may run into some nonconformities. Mainly in this first batch of rezonings, it would be focused, the potential nonconformities would be here. This is National Avenue and 84th Street, the Honey Creek Park, and the water tower here. This is the site that Bethesda Lutheran was interested in. This too was also split zoned at one point in time, but earlier in the year this was actually rezoned to C2. But you can see this is the Dan Kroll hydraulic shop here, and then there's a laundromat and a bartending school up in front here. And then behind this is, I believe this is Cook Specialty, an industrial, but these properties are all split zone in one way or another. So the purple areas are M1. This clear area with no color is RB or RC, and then the frontage here is C2. So there's actually 3 zones on this. This is 2. The laundromat has 2 zonings, and then Dan Kroll is mainly light manufacturing with some commercial. So these would be decision points that we'd like to, we could upzone these to C3. We could take a look at a different, or C2. We could take a look at a different zoning. We could consistently zone them light manufacturing, but again, we'd use our land use plan as a guide and come back to you with a recommendation, and then you could tell us to take it or leave it, so or do something else. There's also some schools, 4 civic or school district properties that we would be taking a look at. This one is Jefferson, or I think Dotkey Elementary on National Avenue and 78th and National. The frontage, the playground area is C2, and then the back part is RB. With school, large institutional buildings like this, it's been a school historically, but will it be a school long term? You never know. Things always redevelop. Would we want to maybe take a look at rezoning this to an RC multifamily district, or maybe even an RB district, which allows some multifamily? It could go to a commercial zoning district, but if you go to a commercial zoning, there could be potential for certain commercial uses that you're not interested in. But we'll take a look at all this, and we'd like to report back, and we'll also like to see what the neighborhood thinks. But we'd like to take next steps to get things moving and inform the neighborhood and set up those public meetings and form our recommendations, which we'd share with you.
Is there any objection from committee members to proceeding in that fashion?
Not at all. Mr. Chair, just a process question. So we're gonna have like neighborhood informational meetings, maybe here or somewhere in the neighborhood, And then is there a point where there's a public hearing where the property owners are notified by mail? Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure everybody's kept apprised of what we're doing. So.
Is there anything else to come before the committee?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.